all of a sudden we're having a conversation about flag burning. What? What is this about? Why in the world did this come up? Well, we solved that mystery. I'm going to get to that at the end for you guys. But in the morning, mysteriously, Donald Trump tweets, nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or year in jail. So insane, man. So people can't, turn down that kind of bait. I understand why, but it is quite maddening. So first of all, let me explain. Burning the flag is completely legal in the U.S., as the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in 1989's Texas v. Johnson. It's protected as free speech under the First Amendment. Now, I know Donald Trump doesn't have much regard for the United States Constitution. He's un-American that way. But not only is it insane to say that it should be illegal and you should put people in jail, even though that law would be clearly unconstitutional, he's saying, talk about taking away their citizenship. Now, I assume that several people will wrestle away the Twitter from him and hold him down before he begins to propose such an insane law, and it'd have to get through Congress, etc. But it made me think that he might actually be secretly a political genius. Now, I'm going to explain why in a second, but first let me tell you one other fun fact about the flag. According to the flag code, section 176, the flag, when it is in such condition that it is no longer a fitting emblem for display, should be destroyed in a dignified way, preferably by burning. Oops. So and by the way, that happens in the military all the time. So he might have to take away citizenship for a lot of our troops. He's like, what are you doing burning the flag? But that's what the code says I'm supposed to. Okay, even if he wanted to do it to protesters that he doesn't agree with, that would also be deeply unconstitutional. Now, the reason I thought he might be a secret genius on this is because this is actually politics 101, that you get the other side to attack you on an issue where you are popular. Now, despite the fact that it's clearly a part of the First Amendment, clearly ruled this way by the Supreme Court, even Antonin Scalia agreed that it's a First Amendment right. Deeply conservative Justice Antonin Scalia, the guy they hold up as their legal hero, right? Everybody agrees. But the American people, they don't like it. They don't want the flag burned, and I understand that, and I don't want the flag burned. So it creates a visceral reaction. Liberals can't help but attack, one, because Trump is wrong and conservatives are wrong, and two, because they misunderstand the point of America. But when they do, you get the high ground and you go, oh, you see that? These some of my bitches don't like the American flag. I told you, no good liberals. Now, he'd created a mess for himself on the recount issue because he put out there that, oh, millions of people voted illegally. Totally not true. And what it did was it opened the door for people to say, oh, well, if you think millions of people voted illegally, well, then we should have a recount. Even Newt Gingrich was like, oh, on air, he's like, somebody take the Twitter away. Don't let him tweet stuff like that, right? So totally damaging to his own cause. So I thought in the morning, like, wait a minute, is this guy better at this than I realized? Like, is he then throwing out randomly for no reason this flag issue so it'll distract from the recount issues where he made a mess of it, and they'll get liberals to attack him, but most people in America will be like, hey, Donald Trump's protecting the American flag. No. I was giving him way too much credit. It turns out, we found out later in the day that at 6:35 in the morning, Fox and Friends had done a segment about a University of Massachusetts who was removing the American flag from their campus because there were protests about it and some students had burned it. And a half an hour later, Donald Trump tweets, no, you shouldn't burn the American flag. I'm going to make it illegal and I'm going to take away your citizenship. He's not that sophisticated. He just isn't. All he knows is be strong. And what does the crowd think? I think the same thing. Okay. There's no other sophistication than Donald Trump. Okay. Finally, since we're on the issue, and now, of course, the press is obsessed by it, and they should remember the things that are important, like his cabinet picks and the recount, okay, and the state of the Democratic Party. You can do both of those things at the same time, as we're doing on this show. Okay, but I do want to leave you with a great quote from Molly Ivins on the flag and the Constitution. She was a legendary progressive in Texas and a columnist, and she wrote, I prefer someone who burns the flag and then wraps themselves up in the Constitution over someone who burns the Constitution and then wraps themselves up in the flag. Damn. That's called an elbow drop, even from the grave. Nicely done, Molly Ivins. If you get Young Turks membership,
you have a camera up your nose.
That's not really true, but we do, because everything gets recorded, our behind the scenes, our post games, all sorts of news shows, all at tytnetwork.com/join. We'll see you there.